Welcome one and all to Geek Boulevard. Steve here bringing you my review of The Conjuring Last Rites, the fourth installment in the Conjuring franchise and the ninth film overall in the Conjuring universe. Really the 10th if you count The Curse of La Llorona. I've seen the film for myself and now I'm going to give you my full and final thoughts on the supposedly final chapter in the Warrens' story. The Conjuring Last Rites is directed by Michael Chavez, who is no stranger to these films, having directed The Curse of La Llorona, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2. The film is rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes. In 1986, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren traveled to Pennsylvania to vanquish a demon from a family's home. But not just any demon. This one is the first one Ed and Lorraine ever faced in the early days of their career and actually ran away from. Now, it's back to finish what it started. I'm gonna start off, of course, with the good stuff. It's no surprise that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they're the best they have ever been in terms of their chemistry. And I really felt for them in this story and their struggle to just try to live normal lives. They've been out of the field for a little while because of Ed's heart problems, so they felt it wise to try to take a step back from all of this for the sake of, their marriage and their family overall. And their casting has been, without a doubt, the best choice the studio could have made, and these two are the lifeblood of this franchise and make it as successful as it is in terms of its star power. The way that this film ends, it definitely feels like the final chapter in Ed and Lorraine's story. And I think overall, it was a fitting send-off for these characters. And the love that Wilson and Farmiga continue to express to one another on screen, as well as off screen, they just have great chemistry off screen as well. They were just so magical. And this journey that they have taken together, it was worth it, absolutely. Now, how are the film's scares? This is gonna go into some negative territory a bit later, but I will say that this film is scarier than the third film was, and I feel it does a better job of building that tension throughout the story. And for me personally, even though the film does have jump scares, I felt most of them were built up to and delivered upon, and not some random gotcha moment that was just happening out of nowhere, although there are those too. One scare in particular was something completely different and really caught me off guard, so I'll be honest, I liked that quite a bit. It does have to do with a doll, but I'll leave it at that. I think Michael Chavez, despite me being worried that he was announced as the director of this final chapter, he definitely improved on what didn't work in the third film and paid attention to that feedback for the most part. It's definitely a better film compared to The Devil Made Me Do It, personally. Now this is where we're gonna talk about our negatives. Do the scares deliver on what the first two delivered so successfully? No, doesn't even come close. What James Wan did with those first two films, they just cannot be matched. They were effective horror films in every sense, in my opinion, with how they effectively used tension and dread and expanded the lore to where you wanted to learn more about these characters, these supernatural beings. Granted, he's been a producer on every film since then, so he hasn't been completely hands-off, but there's definitely a decrease in quality with him not directing. That absence is still sorely felt. So if this is the last chapter and feels like it is, I think it's for the best, because if we got one more of these movies, it could be the nail in the coffin for the franchise. Something else I want to address as well is that even though the Warrens' daughter Judy, she's all grown up, she's got a boyfriend now, she plays a much more central role in this film for pretty big reasons. Her scenes were kind of boring, I gotta say. She was kind of bringing down the pacing of the movie, and this movie is over 2 hours, and it felt like it should have been cut down to about maybe an hour and 45. She only became exciting more towards those heavier moments later in the film. Also, Ben Hardy, who plays her boyfriend Tony in the film, he was very forgettable. He felt like he just wasn't supposed to be there at all, but I guess that kind of makes sense in a way because he's just a normal guy who is put into these supernatural circumstances, so I guess it kind of makes sense why he feels out of place, but he was still pretty underdeveloped. You do get a little bit of backstory with him, but it just wasn't enough there for me to really grab onto. I think overall I'm going to give The Conjuring Last Rites a score of 3 out of 5. The sad reality is that these movies, without James Wan directing, just don't live up to the high bar his first two movies have set. The scares, while more effective compared to the previous film, still don't deliver anything noteworthy, and making Judy a central character to the story made it feel rather boring at times. But the performances of Wilson and Farmiga have never been better, and despite its flaws, it's superior to the third film and a fitting send-off for the Warrens. I don't know where they're gonna go from here. I would hope that Hollywood would listen this time, like, you know what, yeah, we're gonna put this franchise to rest, we're gonna move on, but that just never really works in Hollywood. If it makes money, keep churning them out, because why not? Those are my thoughts on Last Rites, but now I want to know what you guys thought of this latest installment. Did you enjoy it more than I did, less than I did? Where would you rank it on your list of Conjuring films? For me, I would rank it at number 3. The Devil Made Me Do It is dead last. I would also put maybe the first Conjuring at number 2 and The Conjuring 2 at number 1, for me personally. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought, and please be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe, tick the bell to get notified about more movie reviews and trailer reactions when they drop. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to stay classy, stay geeky, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We've been waiting so patiently for you.